Liars. You're all liars. I mean no offense by that, but it's true. If you've been asked how are you recently, you more than likely responded with a quick good. But for at least a couple of you, that's a straight up lie. You suffer from anything from tests, projects, relationship issues, family issues, or maybe health concerns, all of which you mask with the word good. All of these can also be described by a single word, stress. And today, I'm going to tell you why stress is a problem, why it can't easily be fixed, and ultimately give my solution to fixing the stress problem. So we all know college students are busy, but it's crazy to think about just how busy we are. You've likely seen the Pick 2 triangle, a joke that says college students can only have two of the following three things: good grades, enough sleep, or a social life. But let's think about that for a second. You have 3 hours of class a day, and you spend about an hour working on every class outside of class a day. There's your 8 hours going towards good grades. If you want to get 8 hours of sleep, there's another 8 hours. That leaves you with 8 hours for everything else you want to do a day. Hygiene, relationships, extracurriculars, jobs, food, nights out, Netflix addictions, deep talks. All limited to 8 minutes a day, to 8 hours a day. This leaves most of us feeling beyond overwhelmed and overly stressed. And this happens to most college students. According to an Associated Press report, 85% of college students report feeling stressed over the course of a semester. And 1 in 10 of these stressed students are to the point where they debate suicide. None of these numbers mean anything, however, until it happens to you. While I never hit a point where I debated suicide, I did have a breakdown once. It was about a year and a week ago today. I had a baseball game, but I had way more on my mind. I had no idea where I was going to attend college, and I had a Calc 3 test the next day I was almost certainly going to fail. Everybody was asking me what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, but I didn't even know what I wanted for breakfast the next morning. I was approaching a breaking point. That breaking point came 2 or 3 innings into the game, after a horrible call by one of the umpires. I started to lose it, and slowly a tear or two dropped down my cheeks. My dad saw these tears, and he was not having it. He started screaming at me, and in that moment, I completely lost it. I turned, took about 10 steps back, and started sobbing behind the pitcher's mound. And it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Instantly, everyone became more aware of my stress and started seeking to help me. People offered to spend time with me and help me become more comfortable. And I was incredibly appreciative of it. I was able to answer "how are you" with more than just an okay and actually talk about my problems. But it didn't last. A big problem with countering stress today is the large social norm stopping people from talking. A large part of stress relief is simply talking to others, as they'll give you the support, reassurance, or assistance you need to combat your stress. But nowadays, people only have these conversations with their closest friends. We grow up on principles of being polite and not forcing our problems upon others. So much so that we bottle up our own problems rather than letting it be known that we're stressed. You can't answer "how are you" in more than a few words without people telling you you're giving too much information. That leads to people bottling up, only to drop all of their problems on 1 or 2 of their closest friends. And in order to avoid seeming needy, they'll then avoid talking to these friends about their problems for a week or 2, ultimately leading to them bottling up even more stuff. This bottling up leads to communication issues, which in turn leads to more stress. It's a deadly problem, without an obvious escape. According to a USA Today report, the most important skills for college grads looking for a new job are people skills. And then the third most important skills are oral communication skills. This report also says that 52% of college grads lack the speaking skills, or lack the people skills, while 41% lack the oral communication skills. These skills are necessary to read people and appropriately express inner thoughts, and the lack thereof ultimately results in greater built-up stress and a continuation of the aforementioned deadly cycle. So how do we beat the deadly cycle? If you go to the university, they'll recommend either the counseling and psychiatric services or just acquiring healthier habits like better time management. If this were all it actually took, stress would be a problem of the past. It's going to take something much simpler, yet much more grandiose, to solve this problem. We need to break a social norm. We need to be open. We need to change from a tendency to bottle up to a tendency to share. We need to be willing to discuss our problems and listen to others. Just freely discussing our problems prevents us from bottling up and improves our communication skills, helping counter the stress cycle. It starts simple, but the more genuine conversation we can have, and the more we can simply state our thoughts, the healthier we'll be and the better we'll feel. That being said, I want to leave you all with a quote and a plea. The quote from author Shannon L. Alder goes like this: "Your words will either give you joy or give you sorrow. But if they were spoken without regret, they give you peace." The plea: live peacefully. Be open.